Start. We go to chapter 6, factors affecting that may have shifted the supply. Okay, so we have a case study immediately. Please read the case study for me.
A Nigerian farm. In 2016, growing numbers of Nigerian chickens and fish farmers were reducing production rates. Some were even abandoning their farms to pursue other business ventures. This was a response to volatile and rapidly rising
feed costs.
As a result, Nigerian politicians begged young people and others who have left the countryside to seek a better life in the cities, return to their family farms. It is the raising cost of feed that have caused problems with supply. In Lagos State, fish farmers complained that feed prices had risen by a much up to 80 to 100%. Locally produced catfish feed has risen from
6,000 naira.
Yeah, to 9,000, while imported feed has gone up to 6,000 Nigerian
Naira.
Okay, for a 15 kilogram bag.
So the first question says, describe the main factor affecting supply in this case. So there's a rising cost. So here I wrote, the main factor affecting supply in this case is the cost of production. So rising feed, according to the case study, rising feeds cost has resulted into reduction in supply of catfish. So this has resulted into farmers abandoning their farm to pursue other business ventures. So Nigerian politicians begged young people and others who have left the countryside to seek a better life in the cities to return to their family farms. So the main factor affecting supply in this case is rising cost of cash feeds. So, and that has made other farmers to try to seek other ventures outside their farms. So the second question says, calculate the percentage increase in the price of imported fish feed per 15 kilogram bag. So we'll go back to the case study. Here they said, while imported feed has gone up from 6,000 naira to 11,000 for a 15 kilogram bag. So we have, so the price of imported fish feed is 6,000 and it has increased to 11,000 for 15 kilogram. They said we should calculate the percentage increase in the fish feed. So 11,000 minus 6,000 gives us 5,000. So that's the increase in amount, the increase in price. You divide it with the original price, you multiply by 100 to get the percentage. So 5,000, let me take my calculator here.
Yeah.
Okay. 5,000. So we're going to have 5,000 divided by 6,000 multiplied by 100. Yeah, 83.3%. So we have 83.3%. And based on the article, they said it has increased. It has increased from 80 to 100%. So they are right. It's 83%. I think that is clear. So the third question says, why do you think the quantity supplied falls when production costs rise? No, it's if the cost of production increases, the supply will fall. So here I go. When production costs rise, we just find it more difficult to make profit. It's not income, it's profit. Profit is different from income. Income is the revenue, the amount of money that comes to you. But when the quantity, when cost of production increases, it becomes difficult for producers or firms to make profit. As a result of that, they would not want to supply more. So look at what I wrote here. I wrote, when production costs rise, we just find it more difficult to make a profit. As a result, they react by reducing supply. Those producers operating on low profits might even leave the market. This is what happened in this case. So they said a lot of farmers start leaving the countryside to seek greener pastures, right? So because they are operating with low profit, they wouldn't want to continue. There's no motivation for them to continue such venture because they are not going to make profit. So when cost of production increases, firms will react or respond by reducing the supply of products or goods. Is it clear? So now we go into the factors are affecting supply. We have
production costs, new technology, indirect taxes, subsidies, and
natural factors. So we start
with natural factors is like the weather, temperature.
Natural disaster, and the rest. So, but before we go into these factors of product, these other factors, the main factor that affects supply is the price. But for price, it only leads to movement along the supply curve, either contraction or expansion or extension. So for other factors, now we start with the cost of production. For cost of production, when we talk about cost of production, we're talking about the amount you spend to ensure that the product is made available. So what happens if the cost of production increases? Here I got. The quantity supplied of any product is influenced by the cost of production. Such as the wages, the raw materials, energy, rent, and machinery. If all these costs increases, it will make the supply curve to shift leftward because at that point in time, firms will not be willing to supply more because they won't be able to make more profit. So they would react or respond in the market by reducing their supply. So shifting the supply curve leftward from S1 to S2. Are you with me? Okay. So look at the graph we have there. You have the graph there.
Yeah.
So an increasing cost of production will shift the supply curve leftward from S1 to S2. And at the same time, the amount supplied in the market, the quantity supplied in the market will fall at the price of P1 from Q1 to Q2. Do you understand?
Yeah.
An increase in the cost of production will shift the supply curve leftward from S1 to S2, reducing the quantity supplied in the market from Q1 to Q2. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So the second one is the availability of resources. When we talk about availability of resources, availability of resources.
Where is it?
The second one. Are you there? Availability of resources. The availability of resources. The availability of resources.
Okay, sorry.
So when we talk about availability of resources, we're talking about the availability of factors of production. If factors of production, place it down, please. If factors of production are scarce, the quantity produced in the market will fall. So here I wrote, if there is a shortage in some of the factors of production, this will make it difficult for producers to supply in the market because their costs are likely to rise. So if factors of production falls, like land, like there's shortage of land, there's shortage of labor, there's shortage of capital. These things are resources that help in the production of goods and services. If there is shortage for those things, the supply in the market will fall. That means the cost of production might likely rise. As a result, the demand or the supply curve will shift leftward from S1 to S2. I think that is clear. And the quantity supplied in the market will also fall from Q1 to Q2. Is that clear? So go to the third one. Indirect taxes. When we talk about indirect taxes, we're talking about taxes on consumption. These are taxes we pay because we consume a product or we are being rendered a service. So here I wrote, these are taxes on consumption. Such taxes have effects on supply because when they are imposed, cost increases for firms, shifting the supply curve leftward from S1 to S2. As a result, the quantity supplied will fall from Q1 to Q2. So if there's an increase in indirect tax, it means the cost of production will rise because firms are also buying raw materials.
What's the difference between direct taxes and indirect?
Direct taxes are taxes on income, like from your own, like taxes that are charged directly from government. So it can be on income, it can be on profit. Other taxes aside these are taxes that are indirect. So you're not going to pay that those, you're not going to remit it directly to the government. You remit it to the supplier or to the producer. So if I'm going to pay indirect tax, it means the tax has been deducted from what I purchased. So I'm going to buy this phone and I'm paying tax on it. I'm not going to pay tax directly to the government. I'm paying to the business that sells to me, that sold the phone to me. That's why I call it indirect. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Great. So if there's an increase in indirect taxes, it means the cost of production for firms will rise. And as a result of that, the supply curve will shift leftward from S1 to S2, making the quantity supplied in the market to fall, or to also fall from Q1 to Q2. Is it clear? So for indirect tax, for indirect tax, here I wrote, government uses indirect taxes to raise revenue for government expenditure and discourage the consumption of harmful products such as alcohol or cigarettes. So what we're saying is this: government impose indirect taxes because they want to increase their revenue. So if they are able to increase their revenue, they will be able to finance public expenditure. That's the first reason why government would impose indirect taxes or increase indirect tax. Another reason why government would want to impose indirect tax or increase indirect tax is to discourage the consumption of harmful goods such as alcohol or cigarettes. So that's why government will impose indirect tax. Is it clear? Is it clear, please? The next one, subsidies.
Subsidies are the money that government pay to help business or community or.
Yeah, thank you. So subsidies are financial help from government. So how does it affect? What effect does it have in production or in supply? Here I got subsidies. These are financial help from government. If government grants subsidy on a good, the effect is to increase supply. So if government has helped firms financially or has granted firms certain subsidy, it means they want them to increase supply. And if supply increases, what implication is that? It means that the supply curve will shift rightward from S1 to S3. And the quantity supplied to the market will increase or rise from Q1 to Q3 at different price levels. Is that clear?
Yes.
So we have activity one, which you're going to do later, not now.
Do it now?
Not now. Later. So we go to changes in technology. Are you there? Changes in technology.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you talk about technology, we're talking about advancement in technology. So what does advancement in technology mean? It means
like the machines.
they get better. And if technology improves, it means production becomes more efficient. And if production becomes more efficient, it reduces costs of production for firms. And as a result of that, firms will be able to increase their supply. Do you get how it works? So look at what I wrote here. I wrote, advancements in technology will increase efficiency and therefore reduces the cost of production. As a result, firms are likely to offer more sales, shifting the supply curve rightward from S1 to S3. Is it clear? Then we have the natural factors. So here, when we talk about natural factors, I wrote, the production of some goods is influenced by natural factors, such as the weather, the natural disaster, or the presence of pests or diseases. So if any of the above stated occurs, the supply curve will shift leftward. If we have a weather that is not favorable for producers, that means they won't be able to produce. As a result of that, the supply curve will shift leftward from S1 to S3. Natural disaster would also hinder production. As a result, supply curve will shift leftward from S1 to S3. Is it S2? Is it clear? And the quantity supplied in the market will also fall from Q1 to Q2. Any question about that? We have activity 2, but we're going to skip that now and go to the multiple choice question. We have 2 questions there.
Yeah. Can I?
So they said, which of the following will shift a supply curve to the left?
A.
No. To the
B.
left, it's B, higher production costs. Because if the production costs are higher, producers will respond by producing less. And as a result of that, why are they producing less? They are producing less because the prospect of increasing profit is reduced. So they wouldn't have the motivation to produce more. So that's why higher cost of production will reduce supply, shifting the supply curve leftward. A decrease in indirect costs will increase profit for firms. They would want to produce more, shifting the supply curve rightward. Introduction of technology. Advancement in technology will also reduce cost of production.
Yeah.
Then supply curve will shift rightward. Government subsidy, financial help from government will also reduce cost of production, shifting supply curve rightward. So the answer is B. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So question 2. A bumper wheat harvest across the world resulting from favorable weather conditions will do what?
C.
No, it's going to shift the supply curve for wheat to the right. They said a bumper harvest across the world resulting from favorable weather conditions. If the weather condition is favorable, it means supply will rise. Bumper supply means there's enough excess.
Yeah.
So here I wrote, a bumper harvest of wheat will increase the global supply. The global supply of wheat shifting the supply curve to the right. So the answer is A. The first one is B, and the second one is A. So that ends chapter 6. Okay, so you can do the questions now.
You're gonna write business?
Yeah, sure.
Gonna go pray.
Yeah, sure.